Today we're talking about homeowners insurance. What should you look for in a homeowner insurance provider? What are homeowners insurance costs here in the Treasure Valley? What are some questions maybe you should ask? Who can help you do all of that? So I have here with me today Steve Marvel, who is the Personal Lines Account Manager from Hartwell Corporation. Hope I got that right.
You got it perfect.
And we're going to talk about all those questions. How can you, if you're thinking of moving to Boise, deal with these questions of homeowners insurance? And so hopefully, Steve, you'll be able to enlighten us a little bit. Let me just kick it off. What are some questions that home buyers should ask insurance companies? In other words, what should we look for in homeowners insurance?
Yeah, that's fair. Well, first, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Usually I'd start off as a real estate agent, you really want to encourage your clients to thoroughly shop and check their home insurance options and what that looks like. And when they're looking at companies specifically, I would say some of the things that they really want to take note of is, what do the policies cover and what don't they cover? Mm-hmm. Are there any additional coverages available? A big one's going to be the company's AM Best rating, which is going to dictate...
what is it? What did you call it? The AM?
The AM Best rating.
Okay, what's that?
So it's going to focus on carriers' ability to pay claims.
So that's basically their financial position.
Exactly. It's going to be like a financial rating. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. The other things you're going to want to look at is what discounts are available, because everyone loves a good discount if you can get a deal on it. And I would say finally, how do they determine your home replacement costs? What do they go through to figure that out?
Can you flesh that out a little bit? How do they do that?
So the way I do it is when I talk to someone new, let's say, the first thing I'm going to understand is, where they live, and I'm trying to get as many details about the house as possible and try and understand, put myself in their shoes, see what they're looking at and what they have. And so I will rate it, and we have the ability to go down to types of sliding doors or French doors, and so all these little things, depending on if it's a pretty straightforward home, it'd be like a generic build, or if it's something more unique and custom, then we're going to dive deeper into it and really make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted.
Mm-hmm. And so that's something that you would do if somebody calls you up, and then you would handle that when you're talking with the different insurance companies?
Correct. So I would collect the information. I'm the one that communicates that with these carriers to get it rated for them.
So another question I had is, are all you kind of have already answered this. Are all insurance plans the same?
No. First of all, no. Not all home insurance policies are the same. None are equal. Even though some will provide core similar coverages, and so there'd be a lot of similarities between them. But beyond that, they can differ very vastly. And with that being said, so like a core policy is going to have your main structure, your other structures like a shop or a fence, anything that's maybe not attached to the home. You're going to have your personal property, so if you could shake your home upside down, anything that would fall out, and your liability protection, and your additional living expenses. Those are the core things that you're going to find across all policies. But where they're going to vastly be different is going to be in the fine print and the endorsements. And there's a lot of different ones. There's too many to list, but a lot of the main ones are sewer lines.
And so it's possible to get that covered?
Oh, absolutely. It's just usually a small fee. You're going to pay a fee for it. And then once you get it onto the policy, then it's on there. It's like,
because I know that's a big ticket item, right? If your sewer line breaks, especially going from your house to the main line in the street, let's say, that's like tens of thousands of dollars. You're digging up concrete, you're digging down, you're going down 10 feet to get to the main line.
Easily.
So you can actually get that on a policy.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good to know. Here's another question, and this is probably relevant for a lot of you guys that are thinking of moving from the three western states, which is where most of my clients actually come from. California, Oregon, and Washington. If you're moving from those three western states, a lot of home buyers have this question. Can you even get homeowners insurance here in the Treasure Valley? And the reason I ask that is particularly in California, you have a lot of, I don't know a lot, but I know some insurance companies are actually leaving the state because of, I think, fires, especially like in, I guess, probably Northern California, or maybe even Southern California, I'm not sure. But I've heard people say that they actually can't even get homeowners insurance because of these natural disasters. Have we seen anything like that here in the Treasure Valley?
Yeah.
Are companies leaving the Treasure Valley, or?
Yeah, and so there's a lot of things to unwrap on that.
Okay.
And so I would say for Californians or anyone from the western states coming to Idaho, you can absolutely get insurance for your home out here in Idaho. But we don't suffer from the same things that California and the western states typically do. California, you're going to see a lot more earthquakes, earth movement, wildfires, regulatory concerns and framework. And so out here in Idaho, we do have carriers that have left the state this year. I had a carrier that I had insured with myself, and they left the state as well because these companies are still for profit. And if they can't make a profit, then they will leave. And so in Idaho, our risks are different. So we're not going to get the wildfires as much down here in the valley, but what we will get are windstorms. Those will blow the roof shingles right off, and we're more susceptible to ice, so freezing. But here in the valley itself, you should be able to find insurance. But right outside the valley, when we're talking like maybe Garden Valley or McCall, these properties are becoming harder to place because of something that we call a PC score, which stands for protection class.
Okay.
And the higher that score is on a scale of 1 to 10, the more susceptible to risk that property is, and the less likely an insurance carrier would want to take on that risk. And if they do, they tend to charge a higher premium for it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's
So
pretty much
speaking
where we're
of premiums, can you give us some sort of a ballpark? Because everybody's going to ask me, how much is homeowners insurance in Boise? I don't know. I'm not an insurance agent. I mean, I know how much I pay, but can you give us maybe a ballpark? Let's say somebody wants to buy a $500,000 home in the Treasure Valley, Boise.
Yeah.
Not in a flood zone, right? Just regular standard homeowners insurance. Approximately, how much should they expect to pay on a house like that?
Yeah, so in the valley, in like the $500,000 area for homes and rebuild costs, there's going to be some variables with that in terms of if they have past claim history, the home has past claim history.
So that is a factor. It's like car insurance. Like if you get a bunch of wrecks, your premium's higher. It's the same with homeowners insurance.
Yeah, that's actually a good way of putting it.
Okay.
So if you have more claims and you're more likely to file claims, the insurance companies will look at you as just more
Higher risk.
Yeah, exactly. Higher risk, more likely to file. But if you have no claim history and you have a standard $500,000 home, you could be in the ballpark of anywhere between $1,500 and $2,500.
Okay.
Per year. Per year.
Not per month.
No. If that's per month, run away. No, it would be per year. And again, there's going to be variables, so I can't pinpoint any one thing, and everyone's situation is slightly different.
So I mean, that's that. If it's $1,500, let's just again we're ballparking it, but anywhere between $100 to $200 a month, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good place to start budgeting out in that $500,000 coverage area. Yeah.
What about flood insurance? Do you have anything to say about flood insurance? That question has come up, especially for people that live near the Boise River, right? So the Greenbelt, they're going to be kind of in a flood area. Down in Cuna, there's Indian Creek and there's various canals and things. Like, can you get flood insurance? How much is it? Is it covered in a normal homeowner's policy? Maybe talk a little about that.
Yeah, I will say if you're coming to Idaho, check out the Greenbelt. It's a fun place to ride your bike, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Plug.
It's a blast down there.
It actually is.
But yeah, so flood insurance. It's a lot of clients perceive flood insurance as difficult to get sometimes in different areas, even in the valley. But the reality is everyone can get flood insurance because the whole U.S. is essentially on a flood map. And depending on where you're at in the FEMA flood zones will dictate the level of risk and what your premium could look like. But with flood insurance, be prepared to pay anywhere from 3 to 4 times as much than your home insurance. Exactly.
In addition to that.
In addition. So you'd have a home insurance policy, and then you'd have a flood policy. And the flood policy is pretty pricey.
So if you're thinking of getting a home that's like right on the Boise River.
Yeah.
And you're financing the property. Your lender is going to make you get flood insurance.
Yep.
And so you're talking like what three times the homeowner's policy. So what is that? $300 a month, $400 a month, something like that. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean that's a variable too because homes on the river tend to be higher end and more expensive right off the bat. But yeah, I would say anywhere from 3 to 4 times your current home insurance would be pretty in the ballpark for a flood insurance policy.
And so if somebody calls you up, you're gonna shop around to try and find the cheapest policy for them based on what they've told you.
Yeah. So I will shop around, and I shop anywhere from about a dozen carriers at a time.
Okay.
In the valley, and I'm not always looking for the cheapest. I sell quality.
Okay.
I have certain requirements of I think people should be, just from all the things that we've seen our other insureds go through. So, but what I do is I sell quality, and I find the most affordable version of that quality. So when I find something that, hey, this meets my quality and it's the most affordable version of it, that's typically going to be the first thing I'm going to really dive deep into and work on presenting to the client.
And then do you check back with them every year? Because policies change year to year.
Yeah, so the policies always change, and sometimes the carriers come out with new wording and new language. And what we do is every year you'll get your renewal offer about 30 days prior to your insurance expiring, and we'll take a look at that and see how much it's gone up and see what has changed on it. And depending on that situation, we may just reshop you altogether just to make sure you're still getting a competitive rate. And maybe we don't make a move and you're getting a great deal, or maybe there's a better deal down the street with a similar coverage.
But somebody like me, I forget about my insurance, right? A year goes by, I'm like, I don't think about it. Is that one of the things that you'll do is you'll actively remember to like look at my policy when it's comes to be renewed, and then if it seems like it needs changing, you'll call me. Is that kind of what you do?
That's pretty much how it goes. I would never remember to call everyone. So
right.
Thankfully, technology makes things really easy. So yeah, so when someone's insurance policy renews, it pops up on my screen about 30 days prior, and it allows me to reevaluate the property and then call and ask any questions. Because maybe they made home improvements, put a new kitchen in, and just really understanding, hey, where you're at and where we need to be, and I fill that gap.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Again, Steve, thanks so much. If you guys need any kind of help with homeowners insurance, definitely call up Steve. I mean, he's a great resource, as you can see. I mean, he's got a ton of answers. We didn't even probably cover everything that you had already thought about talking about. But give him a call. I'll put his name and number and email on the screen. Yep. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.